Good morning, good morning, good morning. And first, before I start, let me just say, yes! Okay, now that's got out the way. Hello to Richard, hello to Lost Missionary, hello to Martin Harrow. We've got Diz in the chat as well. Simon Smith is in there because he Gallifreyan Wren. And others, Lost Missionary. We've also got SG in there. Hello, SG. All you have to do to join our friendly friends in the friendly chat is press the subscribe button and wait for approximately 1 minute. And then you can join in with the chat. So a bit of a shake-up today. I've decided I don't want to give a 1 hour lecture about one thing that's happening in the news. I think that's a bit shit. So what I'm going to try and do instead from now on is give a range of topics that are happening in the news. And you can tell us what you think in the chat as we talk about them. And I'll respond to that. Graham's dulcet tones made me fall asleep, but I woke up at 4 a.m. and caught up. Yeah. I texted one of my Labour friends last night and said, "Are you at the count? Are you at the count? How's it looking?" I texted him at 2 in the morning, and he texted me back this morning at 7:30 with a thumbs up. And I was like, cheers. Okay. Inside information. But yeah, Andy Burnham absolutely smashed it last night in the Makerfield by-election. He took nearly 55% of the vote. He had a 9,231 vote majority over refuck. In fact, if you put all of the opposition, all of the other candidates combined, got fewer votes, got 4,500 fewer votes than Andy. That is nuts. That is crazy. That's off the charts. Considering that just a few weeks ago in the Makerfield constituency, they had the local elections in the wards there, and they all went to refuck. And this is a place that voted over 60% to leave the European Union. So yeah, this is like gammon central. If you can win it there, I love the fact that these pictures that are going around the world of Andy Burnham in the middle there with a man with a bin on his head and a guy dressed as a fox. I was like, that's the image all over the world right now. And as daffy as it is, I do love that our political system. There are some wonderful people out there who try and make it a little bit grounded. I know it was a bit irritating yesterday because a couple of the people who didn't win started making speeches. But looking back over the footage right from last night, it looks like Andy Burnham. He goes, "All right," and he gets out his little paper and he goes, "Oh shit!" And he only had his concession speech. It looked like he didn't have the speech, like his winning speech, and he was like, shit. So he walked off the stage without saying anything. Everyone's like looking around going, what's going on? And he walked down the side of the hall, and then he must have got his winning speech and then walked back. I think that's what happened. I don't have that confirmed, but that's what it looked like. So yeah, we had Andy take 55% of the vote. We had Robert Kenyon came second on 35% of the vote. And Burnham's win returned him to Westminster after 9 years as the Greater Manchester Mayor. And this result triggers a Greater Manchester mayoral by-election, which is expected on the 30th. Do you have a by-election for me? Yeah, I suppose you do. Which is expected on the 30th of July. So that's going to be another battle for Labour because the fuckers are going to throw everything at that. But look, friends, listen. There's got to be some hope here in all this, even if you don't like Burnham, right? He has managed to win in a very Brexity part of the world, right? A very gammony part of the world, right? And he's also managed to win in a place that is not particularly as racially mixed as the rest of the country. Therefore, they're more likely to worry, to a kind of weird degree about people coming from other places. Somewhere that has a lot more immigration tend not to worry about that so much because they realise that the people coming from other countries are just like us. They're just like the rest of us. Just people. It's fine. Everyone's saying hi to each other, which I really love. Hi, hey Martin, hey Liam, hey Tommy. But yeah, really good news. There were 2 other by-elections up in Scotland. And both of those, one of them went to the SNP and the other one went to the Conservatives. Now, the one that went to the Conservatives, that was a bit mad because it was Aberdeen South. and the Scottish Conservatives took it from the SNP. Something that hasn't happened since the 1960s. Douglas Lumsden beat the SNP candidate, Richard Thompson, by 6,050 votes. The Tory campaign focused heavily on North Sea oil and gas. So when I was asking questions at Deputy Prime Minister's Question Time this week, going, why are they going on about the oil and gas? Like, they've got 6 questions. Why are they going on about the oil and gas? And this is why. Didn't realise. Terrible. Proud of my constituency today, says Liam Fairhurst. Oh, did you have a vote? Did you, Liam? Oh, awesome. Thank you very much for the super chat. First super chat of the morning. Oh, that reminds me, I should probably set a goal. Get some confetti. Last night, by the time the results came in, I think everyone was just too tired, so we didn't end up firing off the confetti cannon. So we'll try and sort that out today. Keep Diz happy. Confetti. Do you know what? Before this started, I was in Photoshop putting together the thumbnail for the show, and I was like, I want a background of like confetti against a black background. So I'm typing that into the generative AI to put as the background for this Burnham winning, and it kept coming up with the maddest stuff. Like it came up with a croissant, like a fucking croissant. I'm like, AI, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm just like, come on, I'm pressing generate, and you generate 3 pictures, and it was just generating this mad stuff, and then I realised I'd written confetti instead of confetti. I was like, no wonder it generates the fucking croissant. So anyway, so the SNP held onto our Arbroath and Broughty Ferry, and Refuck finished 3rd in Aberdeen South, which is again good news. Like they just don't have they're hitting their limit. This is them throwing everything at it, and if you put they can't even claim that. That Rupert Lowe's outfit is acting as a spoiler, because it's not. Like, even if you put the votes for all of the refuckers and all the restorers together, it didn't beat the winning candidate. It's raining bread. Yeah, I wouldn't mind my MP being the PM. Yeah, that'd be quite cool. Also, a couple of things, right? First of all, Andy Burnham. He would be the first Prime Minister to be born in Liverpool since Gladstone, since 1894. So, like, what's that, 132 years. He'll be the first Liverpool-born Prime Minister for 132 years. Hello, how good is that? Gets even better. He is, like myself, a blue nose. He's a toffee. He's an Evertonian, right? If he becomes Prime Minister, we will have Evertonians in charge of both the UK and Canada, because Mark Carney is also an Evertonian. True story, yo. So that's 5 by-election reform. Haven't won now, despite leading in the polls. Interesting. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like the polls are a national sample, and so they don't really work on a constituency by constituency basis. We see this time and time again. You get parties that seem to have a lot of backing, but it's all like concentrated in certain areas. So they might win a few MPs, but overall, honestly, there was a general election tomorrow, and it looked like Andy Burnham was going to be running Labour. I think Refuck would really struggle despite all the money. I got a fame then. I was saying before you got here, I hold nothing but scorn for Labour, but damn, I'm glad they won, and a solid victory against the fash taboos. Yeah, got a fame then. And look, it's got to give a bit of hope that Labour go in a new direction now with a new leader, because the whatever Starmer was doing, it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. We live in a democracy. If people are like, I don't like this guy, then we got to find something else. I can't watch all the Labour apologists today. I'm losing friends to their policies. See you later. Oh, I'm sorry, Black Dot. You don't have to leave, because I just want to have a little bit of, Labour might change. There's still hope. I'm not going to apologise for anything that they've done, especially with the trans community up till this point. Starmer's bbeen shit. He needs replacing. Let's replace him. Can't replace the entire party, but let's try and replace the people at the top, the top of the cabinet, and hopefully there'll be a bit more, sharing and caring, and not a gang of fucking turfy twats. That'll be good. We are back to Miliband's Labour, maybe. And the hydrogen peroxide did nothing to kill off the algae, of course, go figure. Well, Farsight, the amount of hydrogen peroxide they would have to put in the reflecting pool in Washington was like, they need to make it like at least 12%. And they were turning up. This is essentially a lake. And they were pouring in these little jugs, like, 2-gallon jugs of Clorox or something, bleach, hydrogen peroxide. It just wasn't going to do anything. Talk about like just snipping around the edges, and that's all it did. So the edges were like blue. And now all the paint's peeling off, just like I said it would. Said that in yesterday's show, didn't I? We'll go back and watch yesterday's show. I do a little bit where I talk about the fact that hydrogen peroxide is so going to make the paint peel off in the bottom of the reflecting pool, right? And then what did we see yesterday? Footage of the reflecting pool, like people grabbing hold of like big sections of it, the paint that had lifted. I was like, yeah, I was right. I got a C in my GCSE chemistry. And I seem to know more about science than the entire wit of the American government. Tipping Walmart bottles of thin bleach into the pool. Yeah. Again, only believe Labour can change when they demonstrate it. As Dot said, there's trans blood on their hands. Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, they have to, I'm saying that it's hope for me. I'm not naive enough to sit here and go, yeah, it's going to be amazing from now on. Because, it might not be. But I'm hoping. I'm hoping that it is. I'm not 100% behind that decision. I prefer him to stay on energy, but I'm a big fan of Miliband. He'll do great in any high position. Yeah, he's got kind of the goofy enthusiasm that I think you need in the back of government. Do you know what I mean? He's got goofy enthusiasm. Kind of like that about him. And he seems like a nice guy. Trump can sell those to visitors as a reflecting pool memorabilia. Huge shraves of victory. Oh my God, the memes. This week has been, I think I had to do a segment called Meme of the Week or something. There's been so many memes of like the reflecting pool, the Strait of Hormuz, the what's it called? What's the other thing that's happened? The reflecting pool, the Strait of Hormuz, and there was something else. Like there's just been loads. Oh, the top blowing off the oil depot outside of Moscow that looks like a UFO. It's been loads of stuff with that. Absolutely loads of stuff, which has been kind of hilarious. I'll show you some of the best ones that I've seen so far. We've got right. God, there's so many. I'm just scrolling through. There is so many. So here's one that I did. This is a little nod and a wink to the X-Files. This is the flying saucer from yesterday. That's not AI. That genuinely happened when Ukraine hit this oil refinery out on the outsides of Moscow, and the lid off one of the tanks there just blew up into the sky. So there's that. Let's see what else we've got in here. We've got we have. I'll try and group them together. This is one here. This is from the reflecting pool. This is creature from the reflecting pool. Instead of creature from the Black Lagoon. What else have we got? We've got we've got this picture here where someone has put. Let's have a look. They've put an overhead picture of the reflecting pond here. It's greener than the grass next to it. Lol. This guy can't even win a war against algae. And then there was this. This was like in the Atlantic or the New Yorker or something. This is like not just a meme. This is almost well, I suppose it is a work of art. It's a little tribute there to David Hockney, a greener splash for the reflecting pool meme. See what I mean? Like this, the memes have been very strong this week. We fail. Sorry if you're having your breakfast. You might want to look away from this one if you know what we fail is. But they've done a nice picture of Donald Trump here sitting in his green pond. There he is. Horrible horrible man, disgusting man that is Donald Trump. What else have we got in here? We've got this. We got this one, which is just I mean, it's not. Is it a meme? Is it a meme? I don't know. It just looks like a post to me. So somebody posted this. Last time I saw liquid this colour, 4 turtles got abnormally large and grew up to be ninjas. I remember it well. I remember it there. I remember it well. And this is fantastic. This is Stephen Miller, who is the chief advisor or chief of staff to Donald Trump. And there he is as Gollum in the green water. Fucking absolutely love the meme. The memes are strong. The memes are so fucking strong. And what else have we got? What else have we got? We've got so many to go through. We've got another X-Files meme here to go with the exploding picture. There's been loads of these going around. And I've got to say, this one's probably my favourite of them all. This is this is a little Ukrainian. You can have a look. You can have a look. This is my favourite. I'd give this meme of the week if I could. Look. How good is that? Come on. How good is that? Anyway, enough of the memes. The Fellowship of the Memes. It was the Lost in Space liftoff. Our capacity for taking the piss is one of the things I like most about our deranged species. Yes, absolutely. Infecting pool, dead pool. It was his 80th birthday too. I mean, this was a full week. Yeah, he looked really old. I mean, Trump looked so drained and old at the G7. You know, we were talking about the signing of this bloody peace agreement, and I was talking about it being like the Treaty of Versailles. Yes, it was signed in Versailles. Because when I typed in where was it signed, fucking AI gets everything wrong. It went, it was in Ivan Sandbond or something on Lake Geneva, and I'm like, okay then. And then no, that wasn't the actual answer. That was not where it was actually. No, that wasn't the place where it actually was. Idiots. But yeah, it was signed in Versailles. I mean, this treaty, this MOU. There's the Versailles Treaty, and then there's the Versailles MOU. Absolute bloody nonsense. Anyway, I'm talking nonsense. Okay, so back to what happened last night. So the result triggers like a Greater Manchester mayoral competition, and Burnham's allies are briefing that he has enough Labour MP support to trigger a leadership contest. And do you know what? If he didn't have enough support yesterday before the results, then today he's got enough support because they've seen that he can win in deepest, darkest gammon country. And if that means, we can take Labour forward in a way that Keir Starmer can't, with the instincts of a politician, which Keir Starmer doesn't have, then boom, we could be on for a better future than the one that we have mapped out at the moment under Starmer. Keir Starmer has said up to this point that he intends to remain Prime Minister, but well, of course he has. Like, he's not going to say before the election, before the by-election, oh yeah, I'm going to stand down. That's not what. That would never happen. So of course he's going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to stay. But I think there's going to be very serious conversations this morning, and we're going to be talking about this. We're going to get into this with Phil at 1:00. We're talking about the conversations that are going to be going on in the top brass of Labour amongst the MPs. Like, what is the plan going to be? And I think there's going to be, you're going to see today people going into speak to Starmer. And I know that Andy Burnham said, "Don't resign. Don't." He doesn't want a mass resignation of the cabinet because that's just going to be icky, right? So what I think people are going to do, what MPs, what ministers, are going to do is go and speak to Starmer and say, "Listen, mate, you need to set out a roadmap for stepping down. You can't argue with the numbers. And he shouldn't. Keir Starmer shouldn't put up a fight here because the odds are against him." I think Starmer should make Burnham deputy PM, nip it in the bud. I don't think that's going to happen. Look, I don't want that to happen, Sean. Starmer's really unpopular. And I know, look, the right-wing press are just going to go after Burnham with everything they've got. Obviously they are. But I think Burnham is enough of a brawler to be able to get through it, whereas Starmer just, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to have it in him. I mean, I feel like in the last couple of weeks, since this became the last few weeks now, since the by-election was called, he's got a lot better, but it's just too little, too late at this point. So yeah, I wonder if the press changed tune now. Farage has been a failure. Big Marvinsky, no, because they don't care whether he's a failure. They know where their bread is buttered, and they just want oligarchs who are paid for by the same foreign investors that invest in British newspapers and news sources. They get paid. They get paid. Yeah. You're obsessed with saying Starmer's unpopular. Well, Patrick, he is. Look at the polls. Look at the polls. Right, Starmer, popularity. Polls. Let's have a look. Keir Starmer, popularity and fame. He's got a fame of 98%. That's quite cool. So everyone knows who he is, almost. There's 2 people in every 100 in this country who don't know who the Prime Minister is. That's fine. They get a vote, by the way. Popularity at 19%. 19%. Disliked by 61%. Neutral, 18%. Now, contrast that with Andy Burnham, whose fame is 75%, which is not, it's not great. 1 in 4 people don't know who he is, but that's fine. He's just the mayor of Greater Manchester, and there's a lot of people down south who, if they came up this far north, they'd get a nosebleed. But his popularity is 35%, and his dislike is 25%. So that's a net positive of 10%. That's a good UCUF. That's UCUF polling. Most popular Labour politicians. Number 1, Andy Burnham. Number 2, Angela Rayner. And Andy Burnham is above water, right? Angela Rayner, the second most popular Labour MP, according to YouGov. And there's other polls out there. It's not just YouGov who are saying this. But the second most popular one, right? The second most popular Labour MP, popularity 24%, disliked by 48%. So, she's below water. She's below water, that's it. That's all you need to know. And then, you know what? You're right. Andy Burnham, if he becomes Prime Minister, people will turn on him before too long because they'll just believe what they read in the papers and they'll say, he's evil and he eats kittens. He bites their heads off. And yeah, okay, whatever. His popularity will probably go down a bit. But compared with Starmer, Starmer is just absolutely underwater here, which is not good. And let's have a look at it's really interesting. Baby boomers, Andy Burnham is the most popular Labour politician. Generation X, Andy Burnham is the most popular Labour politician. With millennials, it's the previous leader. It's the previous leader. He's not even a Labour politician anymore. What are you talking about? There you go. And Keir Starmer has 100% fame with millennials. The millennials know who he is. Generation X. Oh my God, where even is? Where even is? Oh, he's 100% with Generation X. Baby boomers. This is how pop fame. 100%. Okay, well there you go. So how does 100% add up when you put them all together? How does that add up to 98%? I suppose it doesn't count the Generation Z, I guess, who are coming online. Keir is a kind of weird name, isn't it? Come to think of it. Well, he's named after Keir Hardie, isn't he? One of the founders of Labour. It's only a matter of time before Burnham will be unpopular. Well, you can have die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. I think the Labour Party can be smarter than football supporter-focused politics, just saying. There's a lot of 2.5D chess that can be done here. Yeah, we talk about 3D chess. Surely any chess that you play on a chessboard, not a screen, is 3D chess. Hi again, all. Anyone else knackered? Don't know how you're still going, Graham. Anyone going on the march from the West Country? Asked Jimmy. I'm not from the West Country, but I'm going on the march tomorrow. I'm going to be down to London very early in the morning. Going to be getting the train down to London that day, London, and I'm going to be marching with you lot And then I'll be getting on a train up to that there Liverpool. And then I'll be meeting up with any of A. Thompson's buddies. And in the Jack around the Baltic, apparently. That's where he's going to be. I'm going to try and coax him out with a can of cat food. Come to me, aid, because you have to pay to get in the Jack around the Baltic. I'm not paying to go in somewhere. But I might try and drag him out and get him to get some food at me. Oh dear. I have just realised I don't know what Andy Burnham's dad did for a living, or he might tell us over and over and over and over and over again. My daddy was a toolmaker. I think the Labour Party can be smarter. I've read that. It means dark, apparently. Dark Starmer sounds pretty badass. That's pretty cool. So the area of Bocas del Toro that my island is in Panama is called Tierra Oscura, which means the Darklands. It means dark soil, literally dark soil. But the Darklands, I love that. The name of my island, the address of my island is Ginger Island, the Darklands, Bocas del Toro, Panama. Come with me into the Darklands. Sean, I think it's understandable he pissed at Starmer when they voted him in, and the first thing he did was slap him in the face. It was bad politics. Yeah, I mean, come on. Last mission, like the first thing he did when he got in, he was like, "Oh, everything's shit. Everything's shit. We're all gonna die." No wonder people were turned away. They absolutely squandered it. They absolutely squandered that goodwill that they had in the first few months of the of getting elected. They didn't have a honeymoon period, and that's something that like Andy Burnham could give. A honeymoon period. So there you go. So what else? So what happened next? Well, Starmer said he'll remain as Prime Minister. He intends to remain as Prime Minister, but I think people are going to have words with him today. Some MPs and figures are calling for an orderly transition to Burnham, and Burnham has proved himself. Burnham has proved himself that he can win against Refuck. If he'd gone into a safe seat somewhere, like Liverpool Walton or something, then whatever. But he didn't go into a safe Labour seat, not at all. In fact, he went into a very difficult former Labour seat, yes, but in the current polling, it looked like if it had been any other Labour candidate, they would have lost. Harriet Harman has suggested a parliamentary process involving Starmer, Burnham, and West Streeting. But you know what? I think it's going to be window dressing. We'll just fucking coronate the fucker. But Burnham's immediate problem is, he's now an MP, but he's not yet Labour leader. The practical question is whether Starmer fights or resigns or tries to negotiate a managed handover. I think, right, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll get me a little thing up that says I was wrong and I accept responsibility. But I think that, looking into my crystal balls, that Starmer will go for a managed handover. I do. I really do. He'll be mad to fight this. He would be mad to fight this. If Starmer hadn't immediately announced a 10-year project, gone on holiday, been caught in a freebie scandal, and then cut winter fuel, he'd have a honeymoon. Yeah, David, and that's another thing. Labour shouldn't have had the holiday. They should have hit the ground running and had everything lined up and said, right, we are going to get stuff through Parliament throughout the summer. We're going to come in throughout the summer. Don't give a fuck. We're in a state of emergency at the moment because of the shit that the Tories pulled. So I've mentioned about Scottish by-election. Douglas Lumsden, his name was. He beat the SNP candidate Richard Thompson in Stephen Flynn's old seat. He won by 6,050 votes. Meanwhile, today, Nigel Farage is attending the Alliance for Responsible Citizen Summit in London. Is that today? To join populist and anti-woke Davos. Jesus Christ. There's going to be Sarah Puchin, Andrew Rosendale. You know what he's been accused of, don't you? As well as a plethora of reform advisors, backroom staff and figures such as Ben Delo, a British crypto billionaire who has given £4 million to Nigel Farage's party. Representing the little guy. Yeah, Jesus. I'm trying to look on this news story. Like, when is it? When is it? When is the thing? Event will bring figures. He'll be there. Populist. Blah blah blah. When they include two leading figures from Eton College, Tom Arbuthnot, who is the elite school's deputy head, and Luke Martin, a theology master at the school. Fucking hell. She's like this mad meeting of the elites. Don't forget Sarah Puchin also went to private school. I think everyone they've listed so far. Oh god, they're gonna have it was established 3 years ago by Jordan Peterson, who sounds like Kermit the Frog. Hello, Miss Piggy. I'm Jordan Peterson. You should listen to what I've got to say. There were dinosaurs, and there were dragons, and I believe in dragons. Why do you not believe in dragons? Fucking idiot. But yeah, I just when is this thing? When is this? Maybe it was yesterday. God, I've got some headlines here where it's like to happen as if it's like tomorrow. And then I've got other stuff where it's saying it's happened. Senior to mix with oil conference. Conservative leader. What the hell is this? Is anyone going to tell me when this conference did it already happen? Parliament doesn't rub shoulders with the returning to London next week. Okay, it's next week. Thank you, unearthed.greenpeace.org. Just tell you when things are. I just need the info. Why is it so difficult to get info? You type in like, when is this thing happening? It's like, I'm going to give you a load of fucking AI bollocks that you don't ask for. It doesn't actually answer your question. This election definitely says that reform is as stupid as can be. Placards with "I'll vote for Jimmy Savile over Labour" was not a good look, and it was fake constituents in the first place. Yeah, they were councillors, I think. October the 7th, and Israel's response to a massive problem for the new Labour government, and we're seeing the impact, says Draney. Yeah, Atlas Blue. This far right think tanks have seemingly in offence and inane names like that. We are the Responsible Citizens Alliance for Taxation and Regulation, or something like that. Very deceiving. The Institute of Economic Affairs, a right-wing think tank. The LGB Alliance. And was that for gay people? No gay people involved. Just a bunch of fucking turfs. Imagine having an alliance with like none of the letters in there. So anyway, the event is expecting 4,000 attendees from more than 85 countries at this summit in London. Speakers include AFD-linked figures from Germany, US far-right figures, donors, corporate representatives. They're anti-net zero, funnily enough. Christian conservative politics, go fuck yourself. Then again, I mean, it was Lot and his daughters, not Lot and his sons. No one ever puts that on a placard, do they? Anti-woke messaging and opposition to progressive social policy. So yeah, government borrowing has overshot. It has as the impact of the Iran war has taken its toll. The UK government borrowing in May was 23.3 billion. That was 5.6 billion pound above the OBR forecast, the Office of Budget Responsibility forecast, the second highest borrowing figure for May on record. Public sector net debt is now reported as 95.1% of GDP. Main pressures include debt interest that we're having to pay out from our taxes, public services, benefits, and inflation. And as something that the people like Nick Ferrari who go on and on and on about benefits all the fucking time, over 50% of benefits are pensions. They never mention that. You like to talk about benefits, but they never mention that it's pensions. Talking about massive fucking costs. So the NBER research has estimated that the economic impact of Brexit, it reduced our GDP by 6 to 8%. And the research uses macroeconomic data and firm level decision maker panel evidence, whatever the fuck that means. The decision maker panel was set up by the Bank of England, Stanford University, and the University of Nottingham. The same paper estimates that inward investment into the UK was reduced by 12 to 18%. That is massive. We are talking billions and billions and billions of pounds that we no longer have. It's also estimated that employment and productivity were each reduced by 3 to 4%. So there you go. Some more Brexit news from the Brexit people, from the people who brought you Brexit and ran away. Trump's Iran deal. So the talks were cancelled today. There were supposed to be talks, US-Iran talks with JD Vance were scheduled for today in Switzerland, but they were called off at the last minute. JD Vance had been expected to lead the trip, but cancelled it. The talks went to follow the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, opening a 60-day window for a permanent deal on Iran's nuclear program. But Iran wanted evidence that the US was implementing the interim agreement before sending negotiators, and the cancellation came as Israel and Hezbollah exchanged intense attacks in Lebanon. We mentioned earlier about the drone attack in Moscow. Whoa. We have a pink one. Look at this from Plum Duff. Thank you so much. We have a mega chat. Mega chat. I think that deserves confetti, don't you? Hey. Yeah. Click on the confetti. Plum, thank you very much for the 50 British pounds. Thank you. Just wishing the very best people on the internet a wonderful, happy, peaceful day. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Plum Duff. That is so kind and generous of you. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. That's really kind. Ferrari is the prime example of private school mafia. He absolutely is. Oh my God, just dipped in and watched Last Week Tonight UK election in Makerfield. An amazing explanation of how all this craziness works out. Yes. If you can watch Last Week Tonight, if you don't know what you're doing with, hanging out with the privateers and the corsairs of a certain bay, that may or may not be accessible if your computer thinks that you are in Costa Rica. If you are in possession of a VPN and you say that you are in New York and go to YouTube, you will be able to watch a segment from Last Week Tonight that they put on, that the actual official channel puts on. You're not supposed to be able to watch it in this country because I think it's like Sky have got the copyright on it, but Sky's like something to do with Rupert Murdoch, so screw those guys. Martin Harrow, thank you very much for the £2 super chat to get the ball rolling. Thank you, Martin. That is very kind of you. Very funny, very, very funny man, John Oliver. Unfortunately, he's a cop-ite. He supports Liverpool, as does Mike Myers, not the killer from the Halloween franchise, but the guy who played Austin Powers. And he confirmed, if anyone, there's a nice little watch party to watch if you're watching the football, which is Trevor Noah, his watch party, and Mike Myers was on it the other day, dressed in I think he had his Liverpool shirt on, because his grandparents were from Liverpool. I think they still lived until, I don't know, fairly recently in Old Swan in Liverpool. I've got this feeling that, like, in the 90s, when Mike Myers was just known for Wayne's World and So I Married an Axe Murderer before his sort of fame exploded with Austin Powers, I'm sure his grandparents were still living in Old Swan. John Oliver is a funny dude. He is very, very funny. And interesting because he didn't go to private school and he had to go to America to make it. I find that very interesting. Anyway, so I gotta say, before Trump got in, I was very tempted to try my luck in America, being cheeky Scouse chappy, following in the hallowed footsteps of fellow cheeky Liverpool chappies, the Scaffold, Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. Who else? There was some band from Liverpool. I forgot what they were called, but they were quite big in America with their charming Scouse dulcet tones. So I was considering that, but then my dad got ill. 2016, what a year! My dad got ill. We got the Brexit. We got the Trump. Puts the lotion on its skin, or it gets the Trump again. Economic inactivity stats: 27% of students. 26% are long-term sick, 22% are carers, 13% are retired, 12% aren't in the right places with the right qualifications or suitability for those jobs. Yeah, qualifications is a big thing. People will learn stuff, they will. Super chat message doesn't like the word word cannon. Oh dear. Tontaronian. Isn't that a type of Pokemon? Isn't Tontaro? Oh no, that's my neighbor Tontaro. No, I'm sure there's a big like turtle called Totorus or something in Pokemon, isn't it? Mike Myers definitely brought a lot of Britain to Canada and American sensibilities. Yeah, I think that's why Austin Powers went down really well in the UK, because it was as a parody of James Bond, right? Compare that with Johnny English. Burnham's win is a hollow victory for trans people as he supports the bathroom ban, says Sammy Jane. Well, I think that remains to be seen. Sammy, I'm hoping that he is going to see some fucking common sense on this, because look, right, the TERFs have fucked themselves. They've absolutely fucked themselves. I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. Venues across the country to comply with this guidance from the Equalities and Human Rights Commission, right? To comply with the guidance, they have two choices. They can either build a new toilet in their premises with the pipes, the electrics, the sewers, the soil pipes, the water, the hot water, the cold water, the extra boilers they might need, whatever they need, right? All that. It's going to cost between £30,000 and £50,000 per venue in the UK. You got like old places that can't really have much space, and what they're going to have to do is give up space to put another toilet in, and they're not going to do it. They're simply not going to do it. What they are doing, because this is the choice, you can either spend 50 grand on building a new fucking toilet and reducing the amount of floor space you have to actually do your trade, or be a restaurant or be a pub or whatever it is that you do. You can either do that, or you take the fucking signs off the fucking doors, so it just says toilets with urinals. That's it. Urinals. Is it urinals or urinals? There's a bit of a controversy about how that's pronounced. But yeah, I just, come on, you fucking idiots, fucking Labour, and these turfy bastards who are paid for by these oil companies in America. And what would you do if it was your business? I mean, even if you were a massive fucking turf, would you spend £50,000 on a fucking toilet, on a special toilet, so that trans people can use the special toilet? Because if they use the normal toilet, then all hell will break loose. Dogs and cats living together. The end of the world. Same as Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry, some of my favourite national treasures we have. Yeah. We call those compagnons in Spain. Apparently, they are called champignon in de Paris in English. Champignon, isn't that that's not champagne, is it? It's mushrooms, isn't it? Someone on magic mushrooms. I saw female urinals as a new thing at festivals, and women are going crazy over them, says Paulie Donkey. Yeah, Cat used a female urinal. Was it a she pee or something? I don't know. It's like a little thing that you hold underneath you where you pee. TERFs are paid for by evangelist Christian groups in America, not the oil companies. No, well, yes, they are paid for by Christian groups as well. But I will send you over funding. Hang on, funding transphobia. Sorry, I missed the F off funding, so it just said oil companies unding. There we go. Why does big oil bankroll the anti-trans movement? So here's an article for you. There you go. I just put that into the chat. You can have a look at that if you want. It's why does big oil bankroll the anti-trans movement? Why does fossil fuel companies fund anti-trans campaigns? Might the answer lie in shared values? Yeah, shared values of just hating everyone and wanting to destroy the planet. I'm like Phil. I didn't stay up for the results. I'd rather wake up refreshed and find out. Yeah, but I mean, there was the excitement. But it was kind of like they were like, oh, they're going up to the podium, and it was like half an hour. It was about 2:30 before when they said, oh, they're going to the podium, and then it was like shaky camera footage of Burnham just standing there talking to people, and Camp Binface would walk past, and you'd be like, yeah, Camp Binface, woo, it's Camp Binface. Sheepy, I shouldn't have lasted as much as I did at that. God, I'm immature, says Tommy. They probably see it as a way to distract from their own crimes. Yeah, No, absolutely. A Farsight. That's exactly why they do it. That's why the churches do it, and that's why the oil companies do it, to distract from their own crimes. So we're all fighting amongst ourselves of who can go for a fucking piss, in a public toilet, and yeah. Meanwhile, the crimes against women and girls are just still going on, and there's only 1% of sexual attackers actually going to jail for their brutal assaults on women. But let's go after trans people. Richie Goth says, I also slept. Well, tried to, but rather see the results this morning. I hope you can start sleeping better soon, Richie Goth, and I hope that things do turn for the better under Burnham. Look, I don't think for a moment that he's going to come and save the fucking world. I don't think he is. He's just like the rest of us. He's just a squishy fucking human being. But wouldn't it be fucking wonderful if he's in place before the end of the month and he just stands up and says, this bathroom bill is fucking unworkable. It's fucking ridiculous. It's a ridiculous fucking setup. Fuck that shit. But yeah, all these TERFs saying, I don't want men. I don't want men in my toilets. And you're like, well, there are no men in your toilet usually. But there were. It's no crime. There's male cleaners of toilets. No, I don't want any men in. Okay, fine. Trans women are women, so there's no men. But I don't want men, so I've got to ban all the trans women as well. Yeah, but they're women. Yeah, but I don't like them. Okay. Why didn't you like them? Well, exactly 10 years ago, I was told by some rich person to not like them. What was your opinion on trans people before then? I never really thought about it myself, honestly. Not being trans myself and not having any trans friends and not knowing anyone who's trans. I didn't really think about it. But then I saw this thing on the internet and said that I should hate them. So I did. Because I can't think for myself. But yeah, now they're in a situation where there's going to be more men in the women's toilets than ever before. Because there's not going to be women's toilets. There's going to be men's toilets. And do you know what the men are going to do? Ladies, you know what the men are going to do? They're going to piss all over the seat. They're going to piss all over the seat. Well done, knobheads. We're crap. In Star Wars, they had the Clone Wars. All we can do is the Toilet Wars. Says Afro Dave. Yeah, they're fucking bog trolls. We should stop calling them TERFs because they're not. Unless when I say TERF, I think of it like trans-exclusionary, radical, fascist. That's what the F stands for because it does not stand for feminism in any way, shape, or form. The course of feminism has been held back or even regressed as a result of these turfy motherfuckers. But yeah, don't call them TERFs. Don't call them transphobes. Call them what they are: bog trolls. They are bog trolls. They're just people who want to troll the toilets, like a little troll under a bridge or in a cave, with a little club. Go, hey, I want to decide who comes in here. I'm a big troll. Arrgh. Wankers. They never mention trans men. Yep. But for these radical feminists, apparently trans men don't exist. I mean, you're like, well, what? I'm pretty sure they do. There's a fantastic spread, and I think it was Vanity Fair a couple of years ago, where they had all these trans men, bloody muscles on them. Jesus Christ. I mean, very, very good-looking men. Beards, big fucking muscles, pecs, six-packs. That's like, yeah, I want fucking Conan the Barbarian to fucking use the toilets with us because, they were born female, apparently. They never really thought this through, did they? But then, they knew this. Don't think for a moment that they were like, oh, well, if we get what we want, then it'll all be shit. That'll be terrible. No, they don't care. They don't care. They just want to spread discontent and make people feel bad. That's all they fucking want to do. Unfortunately, my parents turned more conservative with the years, and now they are anti-trans. I don't think they've ever met that friend for over a decade now. Yeah. So this is a second part to Farsight's message here. I've known a trans person from when I was a kid. My parents knew them, and we always used to meet them and a bunch of others once a year on April, a Swedish holiday to celebrate spring. Was that like the Midsummer Festival? I've seen a movie about that. The Midsummer Festival. Ooh. TERFs like Posey Parker, not her real name, says trans women are perverts and trans men are misguided women. I mean, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Not you. I'm talking about hair. Like, just fuck off. Leave people alone. Yeah, what's it got to do with you? What has it got to do with Posey fucking Parker? Nosy fucking Parker, more like. Fucking nosy Parker. Oh, what are you doing over there? You having a nice time? Oh, I'm going to stop that. Engineered outrage with billions of bucks of backing. Yeah, that's what it is. It is manufactured outrage, which didn't exist 10 years ago. You go to any fucking turf that you can find on Facebook and say, listen, dickhead, right? Show me your posts from 10 years ago. You know, the Wayback Machine thing that they have on, you know, the memories or whatever it's called on Facebook, right? Show me one from 10 years ago where you're slagging off trans people. Go on, show me a single one from the previous 5 years from then, from when you got your Facebook account in 2007 to 2016. Show me a single time that you've gone, I don't like trans people. Go on, show me where you did it on Reddit. Show me where you did, because it's all there. It's all there. No one's deleted it. Come on, show me where you wrote it on Twitter. Come on. They can't. They never can. Not a single one can. And that is very, very telling. I never really thought about it. But then I did think about it because I was told to. And I was told to hate these people for no reason. Anyway. But to go back to Burnham, right? We need to keep on, especially allies, okay? Because this isn't up for the trans community to have to do on their own. That is ridiculous. Allies, LGBT, QIA plus members, we need to come together, right? And tell these politicians, especially our MPs, that they need to stop being so fucking stupid and transphobic. And I'm glad to say that the early motion bill, you know, with MPs that I have contacts with, the backbench MPs that I have contacts with, like Stella Creasy, like Mary Foy, they have thankfully signed up for this early day motion to stop this guidance going through, this absolute nonsense. And it's got over 120 signatures so far. 120 MPs have signed up to it. UK, Mars, Adelaide, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Thank you. What's wrong with Starmer? He bans Seng Uyghur from Young Turks because he dares criticise the Israeli government, but FDL fascists are welcome in the UK. Yeah, I mean, like I was talking about this. I was saying, you know, the terrorists who were burning people's houses down in Belfast a couple of weeks ago. They was it last week? Was that last week? Jesus Christ, the news moves quick. They were terrorists. The people who tried to burn down the hotel with asylum seekers living inside them. It's fucking terrorists. That's what they are. They're terrorists. They should be done under terrorism. The Terrorism Act, because they're terrorizing people. It's the definition of terrorism. You know, like if you go and murder someone, right, and you just want to take someone out, and so you murder that person. Whoop-de-doo. Isn't it funny our attitude towards murder changes depending on whether it's committed as, you know, on the streets of London or whether it's committed in like a stately home. And then it becomes a fun little murder mystery. A fun little murder mystery. It's fucking murder, man. It's dark. That's some dark shit going on right there. But yeah, the murderers are generally, they're not doing it to make other people afraid of who they are, you know, unless they're actually going out and being a serial killer and taking out a particular segment of society, rent boys or prostitutes or, I don't know, fucking people who support Barnsley or whatever it is, right? Then, okay, that you could arguably say they're a terrorist. But when someone's objective is to literally terrorize a segment of society, I think that should be that's the dictionary definition of a terrorist. I think that should be the definition under law. And we have this daft thing where we've got like prescribed groups and we say, well, this group's a terrorist group, so if you support this group, then you're a terrorist. But that's not reality. Those little old ladies holding a Palestine action sign and fucking terrorists. What the fuck are you? What is wrong with you? There was a vicar. There's some vicar standing there. It's like, all right, we're arresting you for being a terrorist. I'm like, stop being so daft. You know, we've got to have some like real practicality about this, right? You can't say that someone who's just holding a fucking sign is a terrorist, but someone who's getting the, what's it called, who's burning houses down to try and, in like a pogrom, to try and get rid of a particular segment of society out of our society. It's just, and they're not terrorists, but they're the one terrorizing people, and the other ones aren't. If you're going to use the word terrorist, you can't just use it to mean nothing. To say, oh, it's anyone who holds a fucking little sign up saying Palestine action. No, that's a terrorist. Fuck off. It just really, really annoys me the way we do that. But as far as the guy from the Young Turks, like I know this is going to sound a bit harsh, and thank you very much for the super chat. Cheers. No, you can't have it back. I don't really care that much. You know what I mean? Like I've got a lifetime ban from going to America, so when Americans aren't allowed to come here, I'm like. But you're right, there is a hypocrisy there because we should be, well, not just hypocrisy, that'd be bad enough. But like, it's a major own goal for Labour to be stopping certain people from coming into the country. Okay, fair enough. That's what you want to do. Okay, but then you're letting the far right, you're letting members of the AFD into this country to come to this conference next week with Nigel fucking Farage. I heard faster than light. I thought faster than light terrorists. Yes. The anti-trans thing may have been devised to distract people away from investigating rich paedophiles after Savile was exposed after his death. Peter Payne's not. But the other thing was that the big groups that were funding homophobia, so the same groups, the churches, the mega churches in America, the evangelical movement, the Mormons, the Scientologists, these anti-gay movements, because the Scientology, if it was accepting of gay people, then Tom Cruise would be out the closet, wouldn't he? Also, we've been led to believe. But yeah, those same groups that were trying to fight so hard against gay marriage, and then they lost, and they knew they had lost. They knew that everyone in the world now knows not everyone in the world, but everyone in these countries where gay marriage is legal knows someone who's gay. Everyone knows someone who's gay, but they don't know someone who's trans necessarily. So they pivoted. They went pivot. We need something to. Do you know what I think it was? Not Savile. Not Savile. I think it was the 2009 climate change conference in Copenhagen. I think that was the turning point when the fash got together around the world and went, "Fuck, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? The world is moving towards renewables. The jig is up, right?" And then within 2 years of that conference, when these oil companies saw the writing on the wall, within 2 years, the Citizens United verdict had gone through the Supreme Court, taking the cap off donations for political movements and politicians in America. And now there is no cap. You can. Elon Musk spent 300. Was it 300 million or 300 billion? No, it's not 300 billion. That's ridiculous. Spent 300 million getting Trump re-elected. How much did Elon Musk give to Trump campaign? $277 million supporting Trump and allied Republicans. The largest political donor. That is just crazy. That is fucking crazy. Washington Post is saying he donated $288 million. $288 million. And he couldn't have done that before 2011 because that's when the Citizens United verdict came in. That took the lid off. I think it's like a political action committee, a PAC. You have these things called super PACs, and you could give as much as you like to them. And this was all part of the process. Getting Trump elected, Brexit, the anti-trans movement, they're all linked. They are all massively linked. Hassan has made it clear that he hates Starmer. He's friends with Greens, and so it was not going to help unite the left. I mean, whatever. Calling yourself the Young Turks is comparable to claiming to be the SS. Well, yes, because the Young Turks were very much involved in the Armenian genocide. Yeah, not the best name for your party. It's a bit like putting up a statue of, I don't know, Oliver Cromwell in Ireland. Hey, we're called the Oliver Cromwells. Can we come and tour Ireland with our band called the Oliver Cromwells? No, you fucking can't, mate. Don't be daft. But yeah, I'm sorry. I know this sounds a bit flippant of me to say, well, I'm banned from America, so fuck them. But governments can make decisions on who comes into the country. Of course they can. No one has a God-given right to go anywhere they want. I didn't. lot of places I had to fight every step to get into these places, and sometimes they said no, and I had to find said no to the easy way of getting in, and I had to find a clever way of getting into the country. He calls Keir the kid starver. That's not very helpful, is it? It's not very helpful. Wasn't Kenk an Armenian genocide denier for a long time? The Young Turks, Ish, says Sam. Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me started. These people, they're a bit tainted by things I've said in the past. Now, I think that he has actually said that he was young and stupid when he said that. Now, he sort of distances himself from those remarks. And I don't want to hold anyone to something that they said years ago, because I know that people change their minds. And I'm not going to say, I've never changed my mind about anything ever. I've changed my mind about loads of shit. Kid Starver of other valid criticisms about Keir and the Labour government, that certainly wouldn't be one of them. Well, no, but it rhymes and it sticks in people's heads. But it's doing the job for refuck for them. Anyway. By the way, last night, all the parties apart from Labour, Refuck and Restore lost their deposits. They all lost their deposits. The Conservatives, the Greens, the Liberal Democrats, all the other candidates lost their deposits. But there you go. YouTuber, this is according to Maximilian saying, YouTuber and Talk TV host Andre Walker predicted a win for Refuck. He has deleted the video from his social media. Is that the guy who dressed up as a fucking knight or something? Yeah, I think it is. He's the guy who dressed up as a knight outside Parliament, and he's this little squat chubby guy. But he dressed up as a Crusader knight. I think that was him. I think I'm gonna have to look this up. Hang on. Andrew Walker, British Army corporal in the Royal Scots, murdered. Oh no, that's Andrew Walker, murderer. Sorry, no, Andre Walker. What the hell is wrong with you? No, maybe it's someone else. I think I debated Andre Walker on during the Brexit wars on some TV channel somewhere. If you still think the same as you did 20 years ago, then you've wasted 20 years. Yeah. The SSG barely looked at the camera. What? It doesn't even make sense. The guy who brought in breakfast clubs is a kid starver. I guess just like with Reform, they value stupid slogans over the truth. Yeah. It's not great calling yourself the Young Turks. They got an Armenian anchor, Anna, to deflect that. Anna Kasabian or something? Kasabian? No, they're a band with a problematic lead singer that they had to get rid of to deflect from the criticism of it. Yeah. Has Farage claimed corruption in the system? Yes. Probably. They want to stop. They want to stop postal voting, and they want to stop people going in and voting in person, or family voting, as they called it. Making sure all the family voted the right way. All these like hardline Muslims coming in and voting for the gay Jewish part, the party led by a gay Jewish guy. Yeah, that's what happened. Anyway, so I was just talking about the attack on Moscow, and apparently the Russian installed management at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant in Ukraine has claimed a drone attack has hit a transport workshop. They reported at least 14 strikes. A fire was reported in one section of the facility. No casualties reported. The full extent of the damage is not immediately clear. Neither is where the drones came from. They could have come from Russia. They could have come from Ukraine. I don't know. The Ebola outbreak, the CDC is using $107 million in emergency funding for Ebola response in the DRC and Uganda. This outbreak is this. There's a certain strain called the Bundi Bugyo strain, which is a rarer strain of Ebola that seems to be kicking off. There's been 832 confirmed deaths in DRC and 19 in Uganda. Cases. The reported deaths is 198 so far, but the international funding remains way below the estimated response needed. And if Ebola starts spreading around the world, like COVID had a mortality rate of less than 1 in 100, which we were quite lucky about because a lot of people got COVID. Ebola, so there's been 850 cases and 200 people have died. That's almost 1 in 4 people dying of Ebola who have contracted it. So that is deadly. That is really fucking deadly. And the Americans have taken away funding for the CDC over in America. They've taken away funding for US aid in Africa. They've taken away funding for the World Health Organization. They've pulled out of the World Health Organization, and they've put a reanimated corpse called Robert F. Kennedy in charge of health in America. And he's suggesting that everyone drinks what was it? Whole milk? Not whole milk. It's unpasteurized milk. Yeah, because no one ever died from drinking that. Could be losing internet any min, says hell no. UK Mars Adelaide, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. You just know Nick Ferrari will ask him what a woman is when he becomes PM. Meanwhile, he gives Farage a softball love fest interview. Of course, they all went to school together. They're all posh schoolboys. Just Hannah, to be fair, the kid starving began when Starmer refused to drop the 2-child cap. Well, that's unfair as well, Hannah, because he didn't refuse to drop it. It was in the manifesto that they would drop it as soon as economic conditions allowed. So, I mean, for me, it's like, well, you should have done it faster. It's like, well, we didn't know we could do it faster because we knew it would cost a lot of money and we didn't want to be plunging the UK into some kind of economic black hole like what Liz Truss did. Because when we do that, when a government does do that, then the people who are living on the poverty line, their life gets even worse. We see this whenever there's a recession. It's the people on the front line who are working class people who struggling anyway, and you make their life difficult by fucking up the economy. So it's not like they didn't do it. It's not like they weren't intending to do it. It's not like they refused to do it. The reason why those Labour MPs the whip was suspended is because they voted with an SNP motion after just being elected on a government on a Labour manifesto that said we will get rid of the 2-child benefit cap, yay, but we will wait until the economic circumstances allow us to do that. And they were like, no, we need to do it immediately. And we need to, and we'll go with the SNP, a party that did not pay for our campaign, that did not help us get elected to this £91,000 a year job. Didn't do shit for us. In fact, tried to stop us from getting this job if we were running in Scotland. We're gonna vote with them, and it's just not the way that Parliament works. Maybe if there's a coalition or something, and you come together to work on the King's Speech, but they were actively voting for an amendment to the King's Speech that was being put in by a rival party to Labour, and I think it was a thing that Labour had to do at that point because it's our system, it's our crazy little system, just to say, "Oi, dickheads," don't do that. And a lot of the MPs who voted with the SNP for that amendment, which was pointless, it was just posturing because it didn't change anything because the government didn't want to do it, and the government have a huge majority. What did they achieve? Absolutely nothing except making their own party more unpopular because it allowed people to use the term Keir Starmer talking about the leader of the party. Talk about turkeys voting for Christmas. But yeah, I mean, it was in the manifesto that they ran on. This annoyed me about some Labour MPs, particularly Zara Sultana, right, who I thought had a bit of, I thought she was quite fairly intelligent, but she ran on the Labour manifesto, not on her own little manifesto that she invented herself. She ran on the Labour manifesto. And on that manifesto, it said all the things that they were doing. And so far, looking at the Full Fact website, let's just check how Labour are doing. Of the 92 policies in their manifesto, 24 of them are done, 15 appear on track, and 23 are in progress. That's the vast majority. That's the 2/3 of them. That's what they were elected on. That's the way our system works. Don't shout at me. Don't shout at me because you want the system to work something else. I mean, this is like when you watch a movie with someone who loves a book and then they watch the book of the movie and then they're like, oh, it's not the same as my imagination. And I'm like, well, of course it's not. That was your imagination. How could this live up? How could this possibly live up to my imagination? Well, if it was Lord of the Rings, then maybe. But yeah, aside from that, Starmer says he will run against any challenge. Oh, God. Text from the girlfriend to say she's had to mute Vorderman from Insta. Is bouncing over Burnham's win. Vindication is best served cold. Okay. Is GF from the GF from the GF saying that she's had to. Will Farage be removing his glasses with a truly shaky hand and a rant at the Russians or the establishment or the Muslims? I don't know. I'll sooner call Starmer the trans butcher, but then I'll keep being told our genocide is not politically important. It is. It absolutely is, Gallifrey, man. And it's ridiculous that Labour are so fucking stupid on this matter, because trans kids are fucking dying. The rate of suicide for trans people has doubled in the last year or so. I mean, it's over 50% of young trans people attempt suicide, for fuck's sake. This is a vulnerable part of our community. And Labour are just like, whatever these American evangelical fucking twats want to do, whatever these oil companies tell us what to do, these mysteriously funded fucking 55 Tufton Street think tanks, Sex Matters, the LGBT Alliance, whatever they tell us what to do, we'll fucking do it. This is the voice of the four women Scotland. Yeah, all four of them. I bet Vorderman's going to be partying tonight. Yeah. I just miss being number 69 on the likes. Maybe a good thing with my back. Not going to lie, I want to believe that there can be higher orders of political calculus that can include manipulation of the populace, but in a way that's actually good. Yeah. But I want Labour to change direction desperately. I do, and please, I don't want anyone who's trans to feel like they're not politically important. And I do have words with Phil when he goes, oh, nobody cares about trans people. I'm like, yes, they do. Loads of people do. Like 25% of people know someone who's part of the LGBT. Sorry, not know someone, very close to someone within the LGBT plus community. And that community needs to come together. Like never before. Because it was trans women leading at Stonewall. It was trans women leading the fight against AIDS. It was trans women who were fighting for the rights for all members of the LGBT plus community, and now they're just being fucking thrown to the wolves by members of the fucking LGBTQ plus community. Like, that is just the most maddening thing. Like, we're streeting going, we should get rid of these puberty blockers because they work for cisgender kids, but for trans children, they render them infertile. Bullshit. Anyway, Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. And you are absolutely right, my friend, because that triggers the confetti. It's the confetti cannon. Graham, you've hung out with Carol Vorderman before. Is she as fun as I think she is? Yes. Yeah, she's brilliant. She's dead funny. She's a very funny character. Like, if in another life she could have been definitely a stand-up comedian and just made people laugh. She's got really great comic timing, and she's very easy to talk to. Do you know what I mean? Like, in a way that politicians aren't sometimes. Your continual and vehement allyship always makes me smile, from Jimmy Anderson, Bowling Genius. That's really nice. The same with the film Stormbreaker, or utterly butchered the story from the book. There you go, one angry pagan. The bits that you liked in the book were taken out. Yeah. I think of I can think quite a few books where adaptations. I think Midnight's Children took away one of my favourite scenes. It just wasn't in the film because the filmmaker didn't see it as important. But there's a part in Midnight's Children where it's midnight in August 1947 when India gets independence from the British Empire, and there's a character who's a British guy who has this hair that all the women want to play with his hair because they love his hair. They just feel compelled to, but they're not allowed to because they're Indian, and obviously if they touched a white man's hair, that would be they'll get into trouble. And there's a big thing in the book Midnight Children by Salman Rushdie. There's a big thing about The Midnight's Children, if you've not read it, right, or seen the movie, it's basically the X-Men, but set in India. You weren't expecting that, were you? So the idea is that everyone who's born in the first hour of Indian independence in 1947, right? Everyone born all across India and Pakistan and Bangladesh and in 19, or what would be Bangladesh, in 1947, has superpowers, can fly, or they can read minds, or they can make fire happen in their hands. And it's about these superpowered children, these Indian children, as they grow up, and you follow, these two nemesises who are switched at birth. So the poor kid gets to grow up with the rich family, and the rich kid gets to grow up with the poor family and becomes evil. There is a scene which I fucking love in the book, where at the stroke of midnight, the guy with the hair that everyone wants to play with, he takes down the Union Jack from this, where they live in Bombay at the time, which became Mumbai, and he takes down the flag, and he picks up the flag or whatever, puts it away, and then he takes off his wig, and I thought, as a visual thing, as a visual metaphor for the Indian attitude towards the British. This guy, we love him. Why do you love him? Oh, he's got this great hair. And then it turns out to be a wig. I was like, that's boss. But they missed it out, the film. That scene wasn't in the film. And I was like, are you bastard? That was my favourite bit. But that was my favourite bit. I chimed with that because I thought it was fucking hilarious. But, someone else makes the movie. They think things are, everyone's different. Everyone's different. East Pakistan, man. Yeah. Before Bangladesh. It's 1973, was it? It became Bangladesh. Something like that. There was a war. There was a war, my friends. A war, I tell you. The TV production of A Wizard of Earthsea was insulting. Every bin of it was white. In the books, only the savage pirates were white. Well, what about the M. Night Shyamalan's version of Avatar: The Last Airbender? Like that was pretty bad, wasn't it? Although, like the in Doctor Strange, where they had who's the British actress who plays the ancient one, and like in the comics they were, they were from the Himalayas. They were Asian, they were from the Himalayas, and then it's being played by a British actress. I'm just like, I haven't called about. But then again, Alec Guinness played King. Was it King Fayad? Was it in Lawrence of Arabia? They just browned him up a little bit. Alien Audio Books Are Good fills out a bit of lore by Alan Dean Foster. There you go. I'm totally. I'm on the quiz team, don't you? Dragon Ball Evolution was even worse than M. Night's Avatar. Oh dear. Tilda Swinton. That's her name. Tilda Swinton. I mean, fucking listen. When people complain about black actors playing white roles, especially when it's like Helen in the story of Helen of Troy, she was born from an egg. She was born from an egg, for fuck's sake. But Andromeda in Clash of the Titans, who gets lashed to the rock and she's going to be fed to the Kraken and whatever. She's white as hell in the Clash of the Titans, the original Clash of the Titans movie. But in the original manuscripts, it says that she was Ethiopian. She was black. But no one cared about that being swapped out. Everyone's like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine with us. We had Jake Gyllenhaal, whose ancestry is Swedish, playing the Prince of Persia. That's quite recent. That's not like in the days back in Hollywood. But in the days back in Hollywood, John fucking Wayne played Genghis Khan. That actually happened. That Yul Brynner played the King of Thailand in the King of... That happened. I mean, for God's sake. Anyway, Tilda Swinton, Michael Clayton is so good. If you've not seen it, 2007. Michael Clayton with George Clooney till his wind end, and Tom Bombadil. You ain't seen nothing. Tilda Swinton was good on Constantine. They are making a second movie. Oh, is it going to have Keanu Reeves in? Or are they going to get someone from Liverpool to play Constantine? Because John Constantine is actually a Scouser. He's a cop ice, And one thing says, in the book, Aragon, the dragon Sapphira is specifically described as having bat-like wings. In the film, they gave her fucking feathers. Mother thing. Alan Dean Foster was probably one of my favorite science fiction authors I've ever read, and follow them ever since I read Ice Rigger. Ooh. Peter Stormare was a great Lucifer in Constantine. He was very good. And John Wayne did the same voice as Genghis Khan as he always did. That'll be the day. Come on, people. We got quitters to bury. Turn it up in to conquer. He's going to turn up at the gates of Vienna, and he's like, "There's only two things better than a Colt 45, and that's a watch from Switzerland or a woman from anywhere." You're like, "What was that? What was that, Genghis? What the fuck are you on about?" Blonde-haired, blue-eyed Chuck Connor played Geronimo as well. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, go get back to the other stories that are breaking out. Barbados, they're having a reparations manifesto. So Barbados Prime Minister Mitt Motley has announced an updated slavery reparations manifesto. The announcement was made at a conference in Ghana, and it builds on CARICOM. That's the Caribbean Community. It's the same sort of thing as it's not as comprehensive as the EU. But it's a trade bloc. It's a geographical trade bloc. They have these things all over the world. In the Caribbean they have CARICOM. In South America they have Mercosur. In West Africa they have ECOWAS. In Southeast Asia they have ASEAN. You have trade blocs, right, of groups of countries that come together and bring down trade restrictions, right? We're the only country in the world, apart from Venezuela, who was in a trade bloc and went, no, we're going to leave because that's going to make trade easier and make us all richer. How'd that work out for Venezuela? Hey, how'd that work out when you left Mercosur? Did that work? No. I think work out for us. Well, 8% knock to our GDP. So this reparations calls for formal apologies, which I'd love to see. Education, absolutely. Financial redress and support for affected communities, which I'd also like to see. But I wouldn't call it redress because I'm just trying to get people on side. We call it investment. We're saying we're going to invest in the Commonwealth. Get the words right. Britain will invest in the Commonwealth, which it has neglected for far too long. Our brothers and sisters from around the world who fought with us in World War I and World War II, and they gave everything, and we need to give back to these places. And don't make no mistake, this is not a handout. This is not reparations. This is an investment, because the wealthier the Commonwealth becomes, the wealthier we all become in mind, body, and spirit, and our bank balances. That's how I would sell it. But not bad like that, aren't I? A new emphasis. This is in the manifesto. New emphasis has been placed on sexual violence against enslaved women and genocide against indigenous Caribbean people. So the Caribs were wiped out. The Caribs were a tribe in the Caribbean that were completely wiped out by whitey over here with our smallpox. And guns. The sexual violence against enslaved women is absolutely it's something that not many people realize or know about. And I've got to put my hands up here. Like, I didn't know the extent of it until I read Flash for Freedom, which is a Flashman book, Harry Flashman book, fairly recently, where it describes a transatlantic slave ship and the travel and how it was done, and the black women, the slave women on board these ships were systematically raped by the sailors on the ship, because they wanted it. So when they arrived in the New World, when they arrived in South America, North America, the Caribbean, they wanted the women to be pregnant, because if they were pregnant, they'll get more money for them. Why is that not being taught? And Nigel Farage and his mates want to stop anyone learning about that. Really fucking grim. So yeah, I'm with Mia Motley there. I'm with Mia Motley. Yeah, definitely education. Absolutely. The least we can do is know. The least we can do is acknowledge the crimes that we've committed in the past. And apologise. Still not had an apology for slavery. A formal apology. Do it. Just fucking do it. Sorry seems to be the hardest word. You know, in Australia, there was a huge thing about the successive governments not wanting to say sorry for the stolen generations, where white people stole the children of Aboriginal people and brought them up as white. Absolutely disgusting. The hilarious line, "Where's your Moses now?" See, is Crystal's iconic impression of Edward G. Robinson, who played the villainous Datan in the Ten Commandments. Poorly Donkey Crystal imagined what it would sound like if Robinson had used his classic 1930s gangster voice, like from movies like Little Caesar, while filming a biblical epic. Education. Absolutely. Lost Missionaries got time to go. Thanks very much for streaming, Graham, and appreciate chatters for the company. Very much valued. Oh, thank you very much, Lost Missionary. I hope you're still with us to say so. Heimdall was played by a black guy in Avengers, right? Funny people complain that he is called the whitest of gods, but doesn't mean light skinned, but attractive in a slightly feminine way. Ooh. Can't argue with that. Education is vital. Yep, absolutely. One Payne says, been getting into the Marvel comic book storyline, Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals. Fucking epic story, I tell you. Really good display of discrimination, mutants, and get Xavier finally siding with Magneto. Yeah, I like it. I like it when they team up. I always like those special episodes of your favourite sort of Saturday morning cartoon where the goodies have to team up with the baddies to fight an even bigger baddie. That was always good. Graham, Radio Merseyside are looking for stories of the most memorable journeys right now between 10 and 12. How about your story, says Karen. Yeah, I mean, I could call them up again. I could give them a call. I got them on speed dial. Memorable journeys. I think I can. I think I could probably remember a couple. My source for that video is by Jackson Crawford from Farsight. There. What else have we got here? Both parties just reversed age. He was old in the first film and got younger in the second set of films, says Daylight M. Sorry to keep going on with actors acting a lot. How about Sean Connery as a fantastic Russian submarine captain? Yes, I'm Sean Connery, talking with a Scottish accent. I'm going to be in charge of this Russian submarine. Do you know what, though? Right, I think this is done in really, really good effect in the TV miniseries Chernobyl. Because in that, all of the Russians have got like regional British accents. Now you got the miners turn up and they all sound like they're from fucking Yorkshire, and I quite like that. I quite like the fact that because instead of putting on a daft Russian accent, and in I think is it The Hunt for Red October where they do a thing where they're talking Russian at the beginning and then it changes to English, so you get the idea that they're all talking Russian to each other, but they're just going to talk English because that makes it easier for English-speaking people to follow what they're saying without having to resort to subtitles instead of just the usual thing they do where you have the Nazis in a World War II movie all speaking English in a German accent to each other, and you're kind of like, oh, what? But yeah, the probably the most outrageous one for Sean Connery is when he played an Egyptian called the Spaniard. Who meets Conor McLeod of the Clan McLeod, and he sounds more Scottish than Conor McLeod of the Clan McLeod, who's a French guy. We'll get a French guy to play the Scottish guy, and we'll get a Scottish guy to play the Spanish guy, called the Spaniard. I'm called the Spaniard, or in The Untouchables, Sean Connery in The Untouchables. Where he's Irish. He's Irish. He's Chicago Irish, and he just sounds Scottish. Are you gonna try and sound a bit Irish here? No, I'm Scottish. It's not in our leaders' interest that we can be informed of our history. It's in their interest that they keep repeating it so they can exploit it. Yeah, Aqua Dave. I mean, it shouldn't be up to us. It shouldn't be up to us. We should be taught this stuff. It shouldn't be up to us to go out and find out this stuff that Britain has done. It should be part of the curriculum in the same way that it is in Germany, where they talk about what the Nazis did. It's purposefully to make sure that young people grow up knowing exactly what the Nazis did and not doing it again. And interestingly, the places where the AfD are doing well, mostly East Germany, where they didn't have this. They grew up on, the older boomers who are now, the boomers, they grew up under Soviet occupation, essentially. They didn't have the same sort of tutoring about what the Nazis did and how bad they were. So they just, they don't know. And then there's a point where people decide to be willfully ignorant. I do want to mention there was a Canada-Qatar game last night in the footy. You see, we're going to talk about everything in Vancouver, and Canada beat Qatar 6-0. Stop is already dead. So that's Jonathan David, a player I've never heard of before, scored a hat-trick. It was Canada's first ever win at the Men's World Cup, and Qatar had two players sent off, 2 red cards. They got a bit angry about it. Got a bit frustrated. And I mentioned this last night, the England match on Wednesday night, it was very good-natured. There wasn't a single red. There wasn't a single yellow card in the whole match. 6 goals were scored in that match, and there wasn't a single yellow card, which is fantastic. I mean, for Croatia and for England, I think that's really, really good. Meanwhile, Mexico are the first team into the knockouts. They beat South Korea 1-0 in Guadalajara. They're now the first team to be confirmed into the knockout stage. I think they've got 6 points. They've got 6 points. They've got one more group stage game left, but their lead is unassailable now, so they're definitely going through. The South Korea now need a result against South Africa in order for them to go through as well. Iran's Football Federation said it will complain to FIFA about tournament restrictions. I say good luck with you, Iran, but maybe you could say if FIFA don't do something about it, they're going to shut the Strait of Hormuz again. That'll be fun. Iran say that the squad were only allowed to arrive in Los Angeles 24 hours before playing Belgium. The team base is in Tijuana in Mexico. And a lot of people have criticised the arrangements. You don't be flying and then playing a fucking football match within 24 hours. It shouldn't work like that. England are going to play Ghana next. Marcus Rashford scored. Jude Bellingham or David Bellamy, as I like to call him, scored. We had Harry Styles. He also scored. He's now got 10 goals. Old Harry Styles from One Direction. The ball only goes in one direction with Harry Styles. Kane. Sorry, Kane. Pulp are releasing a new film called What Do You Do for an Encore? Which sounds really cool. It's going to be directed by Garth Jennings. Jarvis Cocker narrates it, and it includes footage from Pulp's biggest arena show and unseen archival material. And it'll stream on Mubi, whatever the fuck that is, later this year. And a companion live album, just called Live with exclamation mark, is due on Rough Trade on the 28th of August. What else is going on? I went to see Backrooms this week. This is Kane Parsons featured directing David. I think he's only 20 years old. He's only fucking 20 years old. Jesus Christ. He's directed Backrooms, which started off its life on 4chan. He's 21. He's 21 years old yesterday. It was Kane Parsons' 21st birthday yesterday. He is an American YouTuber. And he started off on 4chan and Reddit, posting these liminal pictures of like places, like in between places of corridors and things where things were a bit out and not constructed in the right way. This kind of uncanny valley of everyday life, these transitional places, and he's made a film based around it. This guy, he runs a furniture store, and he finds like a portal into this other realm where everything's not quite right. And honestly, AI, you're looking at it going, not that it's been generated by AI, but it's just a comment on AI. It just gets everything a bit wrong. everything in this labyrinth, in this underground labyrinth of offices and chairs and tables and weird looking people. Everything's a bit off. Everything's a bit off in the same way that you know, that uncanny valley thing that you get with AI. Really, really good. Recommend it. 4 out of 5. I think I didn't quite like it as much as I liked Obsession. Obsession was a really great horror movie. But yeah, it's a good film, and there's a few little horror bits in it, so don't go and see it if you're not into horror. Garth Jennings, by the way, he's the guy who directed the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie. That was him. What was his name of his company? Because he used to do music videos, didn't he? Garth Jennings. He had Rattlin' Hum. Was it? No, it wasn't Rattlin'. Rattlin' Hughes, something like Hughes. I don't know. Hammer and Tongs. That was it. Hammer and Tongs. That was his production, and he also did Son of Rambo, which is really good as well. And he's directed music videos for Blur, for Radiohead, Fatboy Slim, Beck. He did one for Beck, Vampire Weekend, Supergrass, and he also directed the video for Pulp for Help the Aged. Don't just put them in a home. Back in 1997. Jesus. Disclosure Day has opened. $93 million globally. Backrooms has become A24's highest grossing film. Curry Barker's low budget Obsession has reached $286 million worldwide. Wow. This week we've got Toy Story 5 out. There's mixed reviews. The Guardian only gave it 2 out of 5, but the newspaper gave it 5 out of 5. The Death of Robin Hood, where Robin Hood isn't the good guy, and there's a movie called Leviticus coming out as well. There's Scotland versus Morocco is on World Cup tonight. There's also the Isle of Wight Festival this weekend. I think it's this weekend, the Isle of Wight Festival. Everyone's going to that. It was Download last weekend. Isle of Wight this weekend. It will be Glastonbury. This would be the Glastonbury weekend, wouldn't it? Because it's the... Oh, no, actually, Glastonbury next weekend. Is it the last weekend in June? Like Glastonbury is. Yeah, it's the last weekend, isn't it? So yeah, Glastonbury will be next weekend, I think. Unseen footage, 2 exciting hours of Jarvis Cocker cleaning his glasses. Love it. The whole Backrooms thing is insane to me. I remember back when that shit first started, I liked it more for what it was then and what it has become. It's just it's the uncanny valley of everyday life, and the film plays into that. I mean, I didn't find it as engaging as Obsession. I certainly wasn't as awake for it. Africa Oye this weekend, Graham. Yes, I'll be there on Sunday. I'm going to Africa Oye on Sunday in Liverpool. So if anyone's going to be around, look out for the hat. Look out for the hat and the little waistcoaty thing, this little fucking gilet or vest, as they say in America. I'll certainly be there with some sun cream on because it's going to be fucking hot this weekend. So please take any precautions that you need to stop yourself getting burned. Also, tomorrow is the big Rejoin March, is a meeting at Temple Station at 12 o'clock. So please meet us there, and then we'll be dancing over the Thames, and then walking along the south bank of the Thames, and then dancing back over, and then we'll be going past Parliament. We're going past Downing Street, and then we'll be ending up in Parliament Square for speeches, and I should be, up there on the big screen, I hope, leaving a message. Martin, you need a ticket this year. Yeah, I know. I'm not happy about that. Not because, I understand they need money to sort of get it all together, but one of the things that I loved about Africa Oye is it didn't have a fence around it. You just turned up. You had people turn up with the kids and they'll just sit out and have a fucking barbecue. It wasn't all about the music necessarily. It was about the vibe. It was about the food. It was about the sense of community. It was people from all walks of life in Liverpool getting together and having a picnic in Sefton Park. And I fucking love that. I've been going to Africa Oye pretty much every year I could since the 1990s. And so this year, them doing that is a bit like, not too happy. Is anyone live streaming the march? I wasn't going to SG. I might do some live streaming from the march, but I know from past marches and the fact that I'm on gift gaff mobile phones, because particularly rich. These people with these spunky O2 contracts. I mean, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it means that I probably won't get a good enough signal to be able to do a really good, selfie stick thing. Right. So should I take me woke as fuck flag? I think I will. My pen's not working. There's nothing worse than a pen that doesn't bloody work. So yeah, just reminded me to take me selfie holder. It's not a selfie stick. It's just a holder to put phone in. 1,200 years old tree. Yeah, that was the Robin Hood tree that's in Sherwood Forest that's died this week, which is a bit shit. Regan Elite says, I will be at Rejoin March. Oh, good. So I hope to see you. Say hello. Come say hello. Acro Dave says, I've never seen Marvin done properly. He was either a clunky square thing or a little robot with a giant head. He should be a cynical 7-foot humanoid Lamborghini with a slouch. Burnham won, says Diz. Thank you very much for the update, Diz. That's very kind of you. So we're going to quickly just have a quick squiz at the papers before we go. I'm going to wrap up for 11 o'clock today. We'll be back at 1. Me and Phil are going to dissect developments in Labour, and Andy Burnham's due to speak according to this. Maybe we should carry it. Does anyone want me to carry that? Does anyone let me know in the chat now if you want me to do a little Insta watch party? Don't worry, I want to start a new thing. Okay, so let's get the BBC involved. Starmer says he will stand in any leadership contest. Due to speak. Okay, so let's just put that there. So yeah, do me a favor while we're looking at the papers, right? If you see behind me Andy Burnham speaking, right, let me know and I'll bring it up on the big screen here. Papers, here we go. These are the front pages. So obviously these were all printed before they knew who won last night. Toddler critical after being thrown into crocodile pit zoo. This is an unbelievable story. A man has been held for attempted murder of a 3-year-old who threw into a fucking crocodile enclosure. What the fuck? There's Holly Go Lightly there. Holly Willoughby, is it? Who goes lightly. Ha 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 ha. Like Holly Go Lightly. You know, from Breakfast at Tiffany's. She's wearing a hat. She's got a bit of a Richter smile thing going on there. Is that a smudge on my screen? No, she has got a Richter smile. Maybe she's been hanging out with Joker too much. We've got Starmer Masters War Chest to fight off leadership challenge. £100,000 apparently he's got. What the fuck? Don't do it. Boy pushed at zoo, pushed into crocodile pit by a stranger. What the fuck is wrong with people? UK wastes billions paying too much for big projects, transport schemes, 65% pricier than overseas. Study blames planning laws and centralisation. We've got the Daily Star here. Boy 3 thrown into Croc's cage. We've got Britain could rejoin EU on special terms, says ex-Brexit negotiator. Yeah. So, you know, there's people who say that we won't be rejoining the EU. We'll be joining it because because it will be joining it on different terms. Well, Michel Barnier last night said we might not have to. We might be able to get the same terms that we had. No euro. No joining Schengen. Which should be sensible because Ireland's not part of Schengen. So unless Ireland wants to become part of Schengen, because we have a free border with a free movement with Ireland, then we can't really drag them into Schengen against their will. But yeah, listen, I'll be happy to take the euro. I'll be happy to join Schengen. I'll be happy for everyone speaking German. I'm a hard rejoiner, but it is rejoin because it's the same organisation that we would be rejoining. It hasn't changed because we left. It hasn't become a different organisation. It's the same organisation. We'll be rejoining it, just like South Africa rejoined the Commonwealth in the 1990s after being chucked out for 30 years for being racist twat. That was the original, I think, with the image attached that everyone has probably seen a recreation of, like the movie. I remember 42 years ago, but seriously struggled with telling you what I did yesterday, says Daylight. Yeah, I think your memory fills up as you get older, doesn't it? I'm the same way. I can tell you what I did while I was traveling around the world 15 years ago, but what I did 15 days ago. I don't know. Farsight, if you're not careful and you no clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in Backrooms where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. He clips out. Oh, breaking news here. Andy Burnham is due to speak. So let's get on with it. Let's get on with this. I will bring this up so you can hear what he has to say. Breaking news from the BBC to the BBC to the BBC. Burnham about to give live speech. Thank you very much, GM. Lovely. You are lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. That doesn't look like Andy Burnham. No, that doesn't look like Andy Burnham, Marmalade. This lady is speaking. The picture of Andy Burnham that everyone's holding up was made by Stanley Chow, who is a local artist in Manchester who does these little caricature, and he designed the poster for our march against Brexit in September 2019 that I organised or helped organise. Okay. So they're all clapping. Let's get the sound on.
Every single day you have spoken to more and more people.
That's not Andy Burnham.
And you have delivered the message
of
hope that a new path can be before us, that the people of Makerfield don't want reform, they want Labour, they want a changed Labour,
they want Labour to deliver.
They want to see some hope and positivity for the future.
Yes.
Every single one of you can know that you have played a part in making history today here on the streets of Makerfield.
Make history happen.
So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the new MP for Makerfield, Andy Burnham.
It should come out like setting off fireworks, like Charlie Kirk's wife in a funeral. Bloody hell. Is he walking far enough? The TV there's a bit ahead of this. Oh, gives a hug, Andy. Someone just said, "Oh shit!" Oh no!
What a team and what a campaign!
Oh shit! Oh shit! I fucking won! I fucking swatting won.
The first thank you I've got to do is to the people of this wonderful area who've looked after us so well. Stubshire Cross Community Club, everybody. Go on, Adam. And how about Ashton Town FC? I did score 2 down here the other night. Thought I'd better mention that. They've hosted us as well. We're going to miss Galloway's, aren't we? Some of you are anyway, so thanks to Galloway's. I could keep going on. But the thing is, the people here obviously have put up with a lot of inconvenience over the last 5 weeks, but they've done it with incredible patience and good humour, because that's how people here are. That's the kind of the character of the people and the place, and it really came through in the by-election. So just huge thanks from us all to the people of all the proud places of the Makerfield constituency. Really, everything that you're about came through, and we all owe you a huge debt of thanks. I want to thank as well, I think you've just heard from them, you know, it's always the candidate likes to think that they win a campaign, but it's never the case. It's always the people who are really calling the shots. And I've got to kind of say today that this campaign was won by a band of strong Northern power women. I wouldn't mess with them. And I suggest that you don't either. But Lou, Annalise, honestly, you've been immense. I could go through everybody. Grace, I'm going to shout you out as well. You've been absolutely Brilliant. There's too many more to mention. But honestly, what a campaign they've led, and I'm so grateful to them. You will all know, if you go back to May, this part of the world, people here issued quite a clear call for change. In fact, I would say it was more an instruction that things had to change. And somebody right here behind me understood how serious that call was. And I'm talking about Josh Simon. So it's something that I want to say, Josh, to you today. Such was the power of what people said in early May. You realised that this wasn't and couldn't be business as usual. It needed
that's the guy who stood
a response. It needed a profound response. And you did something incredibly selfless in stepping forward, working with me
stepping
to
down.
See how we did respond.
Didn't step forward, he stepped down.
To what people said. It is a significant sacrifice that you, Leah, who is somewhere, I think,
behind.
over there, wherever you're there, Leah, and the family made. But I know you
Gallifrey man's getting impatient already.
All of the right reasons, and I think it's important this morning for me to put those reasons on the record and to thank you both, your family, publicly for what you did, because it does now open up the space for the real change that the people of this constituency deserve. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Leah. So what is that change? I did talk about the need to change Labour in this campaign, and we've got to now take this moment to answer the challenges that have been laid down. I did describe it last night as a last chance to change, and I think that's how people here kind of saw it when I was talking to them on the doorsteps, and they said, well, Andy, maybe we can give you our support this time, but you know it's not a blank cheque, it's not ongoing. You have to respond to what people here are saying. You have to do something to make life more affordable, to put more money in people's pockets, to give people more breathing space again so that they can have a better life. That's what people were saying, and we must respond to that. We need an economy that works for everybody, not a few in far off places from here, but an economy that works for people right here. We do need to bring down water bills, energy bills, rail fares, just as we've brought down bus fares in Greater Manchester to make life more affordable for people. We do need an end to trickle-down economics, which didn't trickle down very much at all to places like this. We want to see a new drive of reindustrialisation across the north of England and indeed the rest of the country, and big change in Whitehall if that is to happen. And I'm talking about public procurement. It's about time we started backing British business and British industry so that we can reindustrialise places like this. And yes, let's change the education system so that young people growing up here have clear paths into that new industry. No more an education system dominated by the university route, but an education system that offers a path for everybody, academic and technical, in equal balance. That's what we need if we are to change this. And when I say change to public procurement, as a result of using the power of it, get more work placements for people, a guarantee of a work placement for every 16 to 18-year-old who wants one, the guarantee of an apprenticeship. These are the kind of changes that we need if we are to give hope to young people growing up in this part of the world. And yet, a change too from the Home Office. I heard on so many doorsteps people's concerns about the unfairness of the immigration system, that cut price approach to procurement that means areas like this can end up like HMO Britain. It's not fair that they think that they can just operate like that and not hear the call of people here, the decent people here, who always will do the right thing, the compassionate thing, but not when it's unfair in terms of the way places like this are treated. These are the calls that we've got to hear, and this is the change that we've got to bring. And I say it again, it is our last chance to change, but we're going to take it, aren't we? We are going to take that opportunity, and we are going to lay out a new path for Britain. The one thing, the best thing that we can say about last night is that there was a risk, if you like, that we would carry on seeing Britain and the politics of our country go down a path towards greater darkness and division, and ending up somewhere like the United States of America, where people don't talk to each other in the street if they vote different ways or in their workplace. We will not let that happen here. We will bring people back together. I said last night, I will be a member of Parliament for everybody, however they voted. I will work on a place first, not a party first basis, respecting how people voted. I know people who normally vote for the Conservatives, the Liberal Democrats, the Greens, perhaps voted Reform in May. I know they gave me their votes to give me that last chance to do something, and I respect them for doing that, and I will always then work in the way that shows how much I value what they did. And that's the kind of change we need to, a change in our politics to make it work again for people. You know, I did say it last night and I mean it. The word Makerfield in the future must be known as a byword for the change that came to British politics. This is the moment. We've been on a path for 40 years that simply hasn't worked for people and places in this part of the world. And this now is the change moment. We have an opportunity to turn the tide, to make the country feel like it's working again, to make people see that politics can make a positive difference, to make people feel hope again. That is the main thing I think we need in this country right now.
He doesn't seem to be reading from notes or an auto cue, does he?
That there is something better to work towards on the horizon. This election result has opened up the possibility.
This is so much better than Starmer's
forward together
delivery
towards that future, and that's what I'm going to do. I will work relentlessly to make what the people have voted for here happen. And we will do that together, won't we? We will take the energy of this campaign and we will bring it forward into changing British politics for the better, and to make this part of the world, if you like, the test, the Makerfield test at the heart of British politics. When policies come forward, if they don't work for people here, for the places of this constituency, if they don't lift people up, then they shouldn't happen at all. We've not had a country run on that basis before. Places like this have often been an afterthought. Westminster has looked past the communities of this constituency. Well, no more. That changes today. I'm just going to finish by thanking you all again, for thanking our friends in the media who've given incredible coverage to our wonderful part of the world, who've allowed the characters of this part of the world. I'm thinking of the Question Time audience and others who really shone through. But I'm going to come back to really what this is all about, the people. The wonderful thing about this by-election, and
talk to people like people.
Yeah, challenging
you're right, DM.
But the wonderful thing about this by-election is, for the first time in our lifetimes, it put power where it should be, in the hands of people here. They were the ones who had that power, and they have used it, and they have told us what they want. Now we will deliver it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Deliver! Woo! Yay! He said deliver. We win.
Andy Burnham speaking
Deliver bingo.
at greater length since his election victory in the early hours of the morning. That emphatic victory in
having all the people
Makerfield
behind him, that's not something that Starmer's been able to do for a very long time.
Who he said had put up with a lot of busyness and disruption over the last few weeks. I'm not sure if Mr. Burnham is going to answer any questions, but I'll just briefly recap what he said while we wait to hear if he does. Doesn't look like it, but it was interesting. He said he was going to lay out a new path for Britain. He repeated that phrase we've heard a few times already now that this was a last chance for change. And he said he wanted to open up the space for what the people of the Makerfield constituency deserve, and indeed everywhere else as well, to make life more affordable, to give breathing space, to give them a better life and make the economy work for all. He talked about an end to trickle-down economics, which hadn't trickled down to areas like Makerfield. He talked about reindustrialisation, big changes in Whitehall to back British industry. He talked about creating an equal balance in education between the academic and the technical.
Yes,
and he talked about what he called the unfairness of the immigration system. So he said he wanted to make people see that politics can make a positive difference.
Of the immigration system.
Let's head back to our political correspondent, Nick Eardley, who is there.
Okay, no. All right, so that's that. Yeah. One of the things that we also need to bear in mind is that MPs, prime ministers, members of the government, whatever, they are supposed to reflect what the population want. And unfortunately, we have a stupid system where foreign-based billionaires can have undue influence on what the popular zeitgeist is, on what people care about and what they think about. And that's got to stop. Because if politicians are just reacting and saying, oh, we need to do something about immigration, we don't need to do anything about fucking immigration. It's the last thing that we need to worry about. You know, in fact, we need more immigration. We need more people coming from all over the world to come here and grow our economy and make us great. You know, migrants make us great. I mean, look at the England team. You know, if we had no migration, the England team wouldn't fucking be there. SG, thank you very much for the 20 pound super chat. Hope you're feeling better, Graham. Thanks for doing this. It's always lovely to be with you guys. Ah, thank you, SG, and thank you for the very generous super chat. I'm going to give you a confetti. Confetti. He's singing the chorus and worrying about the verses later. Yeah, I guess so. Chris C is saying if Andy does become PM, I suspect they'll all be returned to the backbenchers. I'm hoping that a lot. Some of Starmer's cabinet are all right. I don't mind David Lammy. Put him back as fucking foreign secretary. He was good in that role. You know, Angela Rayner, definitely bring her back as deputy PM. Obviously, she's not part of the cabinet at the moment, so he's keeping her powder dry for this. I think. Angela Rayner and Andy Burnham are old friends. Their constituencies are very close to each other. But yeah, the thing I was talking about, the DMX there, DMX Dre, said big agree, Graham, the cadence of speech, a general diction of Starmer. I'm Keir Starmer. Hello, I'm Keir Starmer. Starmer does this thing, right? And if you notice it, you start noticing it, you'll notice it every time he does it. He'll start a sentence, right? And then he doesn't finish it properly. He either fucks up the last word, like release the sausages, or he'll like only say half of the last word of a sentence. It's kind of a weird thing to do. Listening to him is so refreshing. He comes across as really genuine. Yeah, GM. With Starmer, there's always that wall. There is a wall in front of Starmer whenever he speaks to anyone. If he's kicking back and having a conversation, off the record or whatever, he's all right. But then you put a camera in front of him, he's like. And also, the way he talks is a bit... Brian Babamde, with the baubles, with the baubles, I want the baubles. Any phone jacker fans in the house, let me know. Any idea what happens with the Manchester mayoralty now, Graham? It's a time set for aim for a new election. Yes, it's going to take place at the end of July. So let me have a look at the date. It's going to be the 30th of July, I believe. And there'll have to be another election. I have a sneaking suspicion that they may get Gary Neville to run for it. All that's all I'm saying. I might be wrong. If I am, I've got my little I was wrong animation and I will play it. For fuck's sake, the gammons on the Daily Mail are calling for a general election and calling the by-election rigged against Refuck. It's like, Chrissy, I've got to laugh. I mean, come on. Like, what do you want a general election? They only got a fucking handful of MPs. Fuck off. We don't listen to anything you say. You know, the SNP have got more MPs. The Lib Dems have got more MPs. The Tories have got MPs. Like, fucking, you know, this fifth place fucking bunch of knobheads, you know. The YouTube subtitles can't cope with the Starmer impression. I'll have to watch this back and see what came up. Real Labour, not Blue Labour like Starmer, says GM. Lovely. I don't know if Starmer's Blue Labour as such. I think he's been influenced by Blue Labour a lot. But this is the thing, like, we know what Andy Burnham stands for because he's talked about it. We know the good that he's done getting the Hillsborough inquiry off the ground. We know the good that he's done in Manchester, making it the fastest growing region in the country. We know he can get in there and have conversations with people and get shit done. And we appreciate that. I mean, you know, I fucking hate Trump. I fucking hate him. He's a fucking gobshite. But he does things. I mean, he does awful things, but he does things. And one of the other major criticisms of Keir Starmer is he didn't seem to do anything. It's like you're poking him with a stick. Go on, Starmer, do something. He's like, calling another general election just makes the election redundant and have over 400 MPs. Reform are getting desperate. Yeah, look, Labour are not going to call them. The Tories did away with the Parliament Act, the Fixed Term Parliament Act. Sorry, they brought it back. They got rid of the Fixed Term Parliament Act and they went back to the system that they had before the Liberal Democrats forced them to bring in the Fixed Term Parliament Act. And so it doesn't matter what Refuck want with their 10 MPs or 9 MPs. They're not going to get it. They're not going to get it. Simple as that. They're not going to get it. One of the gammons has called for Starmer to remove the Labour whip from Burnham to prevent him challenging him. The gammon are running scared. I really doubt he'll do that. And the chief whip will just turn around and say no. He hasn't done it. He hasn't broken any rules. I'm sure that if he becomes Prime Minister, he will put a new Chancellor in place. Yeah, Ryan, I'm pretty sure that'll happen, but we'll have to see. He might keep a few people in the cabinet. I think he will, for continuity's sake. You know, these people have been working in their particular places of work now for nearly 2 years, and in their departments. I know that Starmer had a bit of a shuffle around for no reason. Was it last September? Was it September the before? I can't remember. It was last September, wasn't it? Yeah, the shuffle around. Why are you doing this? I am sure that if he becomes Prime Minister, he'll put a new Chancellor in place. Be interesting to see what the polls look like for GE tomorrow. The Tories never had an election for all the fucking years during Bojo, Truss, Sunak shit show. Yeah. The Tories didn't have an election after John Major took over from Thatcher. It was 2 years later. They didn't have an election when Theresa May took over from Cameron. They wouldn't have had an election if she wanted some more people in the party. We didn't have an election when Boris Johnson took over. The only reason why we had one is because they wanted more MPs. They got a majority of 80. And then Liz Truss became Prime Minister for 2 weeks in 2022. Did we get anything out of that? No. No general election. And then we had Rishi Sunak. And for the last 18 months. Did we have a general election? No. All right. So yeah, it's a bit hypocritical for any Tory to say, "Oh, we need an election now. We need an election." No, we don't. We don't need an election. Right, I'm going to quickly do the papers because I've been up all night and I'm really hungry. I've not had any breakfast, so I'm going to go and have some granola. So Britain could rejoin EU. Ha ha ha! Rejoin the EU, not join, because that doesn't make any sense. We got Moscow hit by biggest Ukrainian drone raid, which we talked about yesterday with the flying saucer. And Iran's set to charge fees in the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. Now, as a rule, I tend not to share AI-generated pictures, but I've got the feeling that this is actually photoshopped rather than AI. But I just want to show you this wonderful image here of Donald Trump. Don't worry, you can't see his face. He's got his back to us. But yeah, he is. Here's Donald Trump, the savior of the human race, paying the toll to cross the Strait of Hormuz. You guys know I run, right? Yes, sir. Now pay the toll. Come on, that's boss. So Oof. Anyway, moving on. We've got the Daily Telegraph there. Boy 3 thrown to cock. It's such a terrible story. That's fucking. There was a story a few years ago, wasn't there, about a guy who picked up a child and threw them off a balcony in was it Tate Modern? Just what is wrong with people? It's always men, isn't it? It's always fucking men. EU citizens given benefits and homes after claiming asylum. Russia vows to take revenge for Ukraine bombarding Moscow. Yeah, right. Chew your way to low blood pressure. Andrew Stalker looked up Kate and killing. Brad, Angelina, and the children who disowned him. New legal contracts to end gazumping. Good. Cost of living crisis. Hope. Cost of living hope for UK as oil flows again in the Gulf. We've got the Mirror here saying together we can save lives. This is Keir Starmer pledging support to water safety campaign. We should bring back those really terrifying public information little adverts that we used to have in the 1970s and 80s. You know, where like the kids went near thin ice and you had the Grim Reaper bowling people. Do you remember he was bowling and it was people? Don't boil a kettle on a boat. We're back in the times of sound tolls. I guess Turkey and Denmark will be happy. Whenever anyone asks about general election, the response should be Johnson's trust Sunak. Nothing more needs to be said. Yeah. That's an alligator. Telegraph can't even get the photograph right. Oh yeah, it is an alligator. One of the crocodiles at Johnson Zoo where the police arrested the suspect. But it is an alligator, you are right. They have a different face. We've got the Metro saying you're going to be the ones that save us. Hopes soar amid emotional scenes as fans and players unite with Oasis's Wonderwall, the song Wonderwall. Stay out of EU and cut taxes to back global Britain. 10 years on, the majority of Britain's back Brexit. No, they don't. They don't. That's just a lie. That's a straight up fucking lie. Into the Financial Times. Palantir's fight to keep its grip on the NHS. Fuck off, Palantir. We've got, is AI making the world more predictable? No. It's making it more uncanny valley, though. Bank of England keeps rates at 3.75% after Iran peace deal lowers oil price. Crunch time, Burnham's poll performance holds key to Starmer's future in number 10, and he blew it out the water, my friends. He blew it out the water. Gatwick legally challenges relaxation of takeoff rules. Kyiv attacks Moscow. Gold smuggling crisis. Gold executives have warned that a crisis of bullion smuggling is fueling wars. Riyadh criticizes EU rules. Go fuck yourself, Saudi Arabia. You bunch of knobheads who fucking kill anyone who looks like you're funny, especially journalists. Tesco hit by demand dip. Banks up ante on Claude. JP Morgan has stopped its Hong Kong employees from accessing Anthropic's AI models. EQT's takeover approved. HSBC fined in Australia. The UK-based bank has agreed to pay a 35 million Australian dollar penalty over its failure to protect Australians from scammers. Rape convictions under review after the detective allegedly used an AI chatbot, which is really fucking disturbing. It's hard enough to get a rape conviction as it is, and several rape convictions now under review after the detective involved in the cases was suspended for allegedly preparing evidence by giving biased prompts to an AI chatbot. Fucking idiot. And then we've got Accenture shares plunge as AI disruption fears hit. Shares in the consultancy firm Accenture, headed by Julie Sweet, hit a 9-year low because of fears about AI and the disruption it's going to cause. Right, no more disruption for you, my friends, because I'm going to leave it so you can go and have some breakfast. I can have some. You can have some breakfast while you watch this. I can't really sit here and eat me bowl of granola. Apparently, the suspect has been released from police custody as he's been deemed unfit to be interviewed, his severe learning difficulties, and was out on an outing with 2 carers. Bloody hell. That's crazy, Chris. So yeah, now the truth comes out. Thank God he wasn't of an ethnic minority. Because we'd be having riots now, wouldn't we? Actual lawyers are using chatbots to make their cases and then getting caught in the satire timeline. Yeah. The 3-year-old boy has suffered from a broken arm and pelvis after being thrown 15 feet into the enclosure. Jesus Christ. Was this someone, I suppose it could be someone who's I don't know what issues they had, but it might be someone with like obsessive compulsive disorder or something like that that's driven him to do this. It feels weird. Did The Guardian show pictures of strikes on a nearly 1,000-year-old church historical site in Kyiv? Because pictures of a church and Guardian's front page gives the impression that the church was hit. I don't know if they did do the picture of the 1,000-year-old church in Kyiv that was hit by the Russians last week, but that picture, that I wouldn't have used that picture. I would have used the fucking flying saucer picture or the doggy frisbee picture, which is much better. That's what I said. Graham, says Diz. All right. Sorry, I didn't see that you said that. Don't shout at me. But yeah, you shouldn't eat a bowl of granola. That sounds bad. Yeah, a bowl of granola. Give that a swerve. Give that a hard swerve. Anyway, look, Burnham won. Looks like Keir Starmer is circling the drain, and looks like a new, more positive politics awaits. A new progressive politics, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. At least we'll be getting a new Chancellor of the Exchequer. They've got rid of wet streeting. Well, he let himself out, didn't he? As Health Secretary, I hope he's not brought back by Andy Burnham. Apparently, the zoo owners leapt into the enclosure and saved the boy from the jaws of the croc in the nick of time. Wow. Good on them for being brave and doing that. Poor kid. I mean, that's going to be fucking traumatic. That's something that kid's going to live with for the rest of his or her life. I feel more hopeful, says GM Lovely. Yeah, I feel that. It just stuns me how Starmer has fucked up as badly as he had. Depressing, says Farsight. I mean, this is the thing, right? We can talk about the fact that the far left, the hard left of Labour are always against him from the start. They've hated him since the get-go. We could talk about the papers being against him, and all the oligarchs and the people, the mysteriously funded think tanks in 55 countries all being against him. That's one thing, right? He fucked up. Time and time again. He just did. And, you get to your 15th fuck up as Prime Minister, and you're looking at your popularity and it's underwater. You can't just blame, they did this with the previous leader of Labour. People, it's just because the papers hated him. That's why you hated him, Graham, because you just believe what you read in the fucking Mail or the fucking Scum. Yeah, like I read the fucking Scum. Newspaper and go, yeah, they've got the right idea. No, he made a load of mistakes. He made a lot of mistakes, and so is Keir Starmer. So, we'll see what happens. A bit more positive. Anyway, listen, I'll be back in just over an hour and 45 minutes. Just under an hour and 45 minutes for 1 o'clock. For the agenda. Me and Phil are going to be talking all about this, all about Andy Burnham, his win, and what it means for Labour going forward, getting Phil's take on it. So please join me for that join us for that at 1 o'clock. And then I'll be back tonight for a special edition of the Friday Night Socialist, coming back 1 week only to talk about the election results. So that'll be around 9:30 tonight. So look out for that, my friends. And until next time, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the super chats and the mega chat. That's so incredibly kind of you. And thank you for keeping this channel going. Thank you for being awesome. Just one little favor for me. Just give us a like on the way out. That's all I ask. Just give us a like. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you know when we're going to go live, because you never know. And I might do a bit of writing this afternoon, but I'm not sure because I've got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of stuff to do. Got to get ready to go to London and Liverpool over the weekend. It's going to be a big weekend. Okay, so until next time, thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.